The last thing I smelled was his fear. Not normal fear, like fireworks or a stranger at the door. This fear was sharp and metallic, like pennies on the tongue. Rain hammered the roof in heavy sheets. The windshield wipers moved like frantic arms, trying to push the storm away. Outside, the city turned into streaks of light and water, like the world was melting. He gripped the wheel so hard his knuckles went pale. His hands trembled, and I knew that tremble. It was the tremble he tried to hide when life got too heavy, when he didn't want anyone to see how close he was to breaking. I wanted to lick his knuckles, my old trick. One lick meant, I'm here. Keep going. You're safe. I tried to lift my head, to lean forward, to touch him with the smallest proof of loyalty. But my legs didn't answer me anymore. My body was in the back seat, but it wasn't mine. It felt borrowed, like someone had unplugged me from the inside and left the shell behind. I became weight, dead weight. And the strangest part is, I wasn't scared for me. I was scared for him. Humans think dogs fear death. No. Dogs fear separation. We fear the moment your scent leaves the room and doesn't come back. He kept saying my name like it was a rope, like if he repeated it enough times, he could pull me back. Bella, Bella, Bella. His voice sounded far away, as if it had to cross a river to reach me. And the river was cold. The hazard lights blinked in steady orange. Tick, tick, tick. A heartbeat made of electricity, counting down a moment neither of us understood. I tried to breathe deeper. I tried to remind my body how to work. I tried to remind my brain that I had a job. Because my job was always simple. Stay close. Watch the dark. Keep him safe. But the edges of my vision darkened. Not like sleep. Like curtains closing from both sides, slowly and without mercy. He inhaled, sharp, like he was about to beg the universe. And I wanted to answer. I wanted to say, I'm still here. I wanted to say, you're not losing me on purpose. I wanted to say, I would never leave you if I had a choice. But my mouth couldn't find sound. My paws couldn't find ground. My body couldn't find me. The storm outside wasn't the real storm. The real storm was inside my skull. A silent lightning bolt. A sudden tilt. A room that stopped being a room. And then I realized something terrifying. This wasn't pain. This was departure. I could feel time stretching. A second became long enough to hold 1,000 thoughts. Tiny details became loud. The glow of the dashboard, the rhythm of the wipers, the way his jaw tightened when he tried not to cry. His voice cracked. He kept calling me like the world depended on it. Because to him, it did. And I understood him in the purest way. Because to me, he was the world. Not part of it. Not one person among many. My whole world. The car rocked. Rain shouted. streetlights smeared into gold lines. And my name kept floating in the air like a prayer he refused to stop saying. I tried to memorize him in that moment. The shape of his hands, the tension in his shoulders, the way he leaned forward as if leaning could change reality. There is a cruel truth about love. When you love someone completely, even the smallest goodbye feels infinite. Somewhere between thunder and breathing, the river finally took me under. And as I went, I held one thought tighter than any leash. If I can't stay in my body, I will stay close to him anyway, even if he never sees me again.
Before the river, there was the sun. They called me Bella, but my real job wasn't pet. My real job was shadow. A human alone is vulnerable. You pretend you're not. Shoes, locks, keys, screens. But I could smell the truth on you. Stress smells like hot metal. Sadness smells like cold water. Love smells like home. Where he went, I went. If he stood up, my ears stood up. If he walked to the kitchen at 3 in the morning, I followed, silent paws on cold tile. Not because I wanted food, because I wanted him safe. If he went to the bathroom, I guarded the door, facing outward, like a soldier. Not because I feared monsters, because I refused to let loneliness touch him without permission. He laughed at me sometimes. "You're ridiculous," he'd say. But he never told me to stop. Because even humans, especially humans, sleep better when someone is standing watch. Our routine was a small religion. Morning meant coffee, bread, and my bowl. I sat before he asked, not because I was trained, but because I loved the order of our world. Order meant, nothing bad is happening. Order meant, we are still us. On hard days, he talked to me like I understood everything. Maybe I didn't understand the words, but I understood the weight behind them. When he said, "Today was hard," his shoulders told the story. When he said, "We're going to be okay," his voice tried to believe itself. And when he said nothing at all, I heard that too. Sometimes he reached down without looking. His fingers searched the air, and my head rose to meet them. That touch wasn't only for me. It was for him. It said, "You are not alone in this room." We had deals. He slipped me little pieces of cheese under the table, pretending he didn't. I pretended I didn't notice. We both knew the truth and loved each other anyway. I learned his life through details. Shoes by the door meant we were going out. A hoodie meant he was staying in. A long sigh meant he needed me close. A laugh meant the world wasn't winning today. And the hallway was my kingdom. Every night before sleep, I walked it slowly, nose up, ears sharp, reading the silence like a book. The house creaked. The wind pushed branches against the glass. The fridge clicked and sighed. All normal. But if something felt wrong, even slightly, I planted myself between him and the dark. That was my job. And I loved my job. Dogs don't count time like humans do. We count in walks, in dinners, in naps where the only sound is your breathing. in the click of your key in the lock. I loved that click, because it meant, he's back. And if he's back, the world makes sense. I remember how he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching. Like I was more than a dog. Like I was proof that he could be loved without performing. No achievements. No money. No perfect day required. Just him. Just me. Just staying. I remember the perfect day. Not because it was special. Because it was ordinary. We woke up late. He stretched, and I stretched with him. Sunlight fell across the bed like warm water. He laughed when my tail hit the wall. We walked without purpose. No rushing. No destination. Just sidewalks still wet from last night's rain and the smell of trees waking up. I read the world with my nose, but I always looked back at him. Because my favorite sight was not the street. It was him still being there. Back home, he cooked. I watched. He dropped a tiny piece of food, by accident, on purpose. I acted surprised. He acted innocent. We played the ritual like it mattered. Because it did. That night I did my patrol. Down the hallway, back again. Checked the window. Checked the door. Checked the silence. Everything normal. Everything safe. I lay down at the foot of the bed and listened to his breathing slow. And I truly believed we had all the time in the world. It happened on an ordinary day. A Tuesday. The kind of day the universe shouldn't choose for disaster. We ate. We played. I lay on the rug, heater warmth in my ribs like a sleepy sun. The TV flickered blue on the wall. His phone buzzed once, then went quiet. The house was breathing normally. No warning. No slow goodbye. Just a spark. A silent lightning strike inside my brain. The floor tilted like a boat. My vision narrowed. And my pores stopped listening. I tried to stand. I swear I tried. But my legs sent messages into an empty radio. My body was there, but it wasn't cooperating. Like it was forgetting the language of movement. Then a sound came out of my throat. Not a bark. Not a growl. A distorted cry I didn't recognize as mine. His chair scraped back. Fast footsteps. His smell changed in 1 second from calm to panic. Bella. Then louder. Bella. He knelt beside me, hands everywhere, trying to hold my body still. He kept saying, "It's okay," but his voice was breaking as he spoke. He was trying to sound like safety while he was drowning. For the first time in 10 years, I saw fear in my human. And I couldn't protect him. That was the cruelest thing. Not the seizure. Not the confusion. The fact that I was the reason he was afraid. He lifted me up. I was heavy. Not because I weighed more. Because I was leaving. He ran with me in his arms as if I were made of glass. We crossed the hallway, my hallway. and the light above us flickered like it didn't want to watch. Outside, the rain hit my snout. Cold, sharp, distant. The world became water and noise. He placed me in the car. He climbed in, hands shaking on the wheel. And he kept calling my name like the world depended on it. I wanted to lick his hand. I wanted to stop the tremble. I wanted to give him the only medicine I had. Loyalty. But the river was already there. And it was pulling me out of my cage of bones. He drove through red lights slowly, not reckless, desperate, as if a rival could reverse time. He glanced at the back seat again and again. He spoke to me in fragments. Stay with me. Come on. Please. And I tried. I really tried. I tried to breathe. I tried to move. I tried to stay. But my body was slipping away like sand through fingers. I didn't want to leave. Not because I feared what came next. Because I feared what he would feel when he realized I was gone. And as the storm kept shouting outside, I made a promise without words. If I can't stay in my body, I will stay close to you, even if you never see me again, even if all you feel is the silence where I used to be.
Suddenly, the cold stopped. The pain vanished like it never existed. Air moved through me without effort. And for one ridiculous moment, I thought we won. I stood up. My tail wagged. I tried to bark, "Hey, I'm okay. I'm here. Look." But no sound moved the room. He didn't look at me. He was leaning over the table, shoulders shaking. And on the table was my body. That old coat I used to wear. It looked smaller than I remembered. Like an abandoned house with the lights off. Like something familiar that had been emptied. Then he made a sound I had never heard from him. A scream. Not loud like anger. Raw like something tearing inside the chest. The kind of sound a person makes when reality becomes unacceptable. I ran to him. I pressed my snout to his leg. My oldest comfort. But I went through him. Like mist through branches. I tried again. Harder. Through. I blinked. I stared at my own paws. I could see them, but they didn't feel solid. I could feel myself thinking, but I couldn't feel myself touching. Hands moved fast around the table. Gloves. Metal tools. Soft voices trying to sound calm. I didn't hate them. They were trying. But they were trying to pull a boat upstream. After the river had already decided. He whispered, "I'm sorry." Over and over. Like the universe would accept an apology and undo time. I wanted to tell him the truth. You gave me the perfect life. You gave me mornings. You gave me a hallway to guard. You gave me the sound of your key in the lock. You gave me a place where loneliness couldn't reach you. What more could a dog ask for? But my mouth couldn't make words. And my body couldn't make warmth. I was invisible. And the person I loved most was falling apart in front of me. That is the first cruelty of death. You don't lose your love. You lose your ability to prove it with touch. So I stayed, right beside him, like a shadow that refused to leave the room. I watched his hands. I watched how carefully he touched my body, as if gentleness could fix it. I watched him search my face for a sign, any sign, and I wanted to scream too, not from pain, from helplessness, because I could see him, I could smell him, I could feel his grief like heat, and I couldn't do the one thing that had always worked. I couldn't put my head in his hand and make the world quieter. They made him sign papers. Do you understand how strange that is? The world ends, and someone asks for your address. A receptionist spoke softly, as if softness could undo physics, as if a gentle tone could negotiate with death. He nodded too many times. His eyes weren't seeing anything. He was looking through the room, into the place where I had gone. He held my leash in his fist, not because he needed it, because his hand didn't know how to be empty yet. The leash was still warm from my neck. It still held the curve of our routine. He rubbed the fabric between his fingers, as if texture could bring me back. He whispered, "I'm sorry" again, not to the staff, not to himself, to me. And I wanted to shake my head and say, "No, not sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the walks, for the nights you stayed home, for the times you spoke to me like I was a person, for the way you let me guard the hallway like it mattered." Humans don't realize how much that matters to a dog. To be needed, to have a job, to have a purpose, to have a person. He stood up finally. His body moved like it was older than it was. He walked toward the door and paused, like he expected me to appear at his heel. That tiny pause was a knife. Then he stepped into the night. He carried my body out carefully, as if I might wake up, as if the world might suddenly apologize. But the world didn't apologize. The world kept breathing. The world kept moving. Cars passed. People talked. Someone laughed somewhere far away. And my human had to walk through it, holding a leash that led to nothing. He didn't curse. He didn't blame anyone out loud. He just looked hollow. And I learned something about humans. You don't always cry when you're broken. Sometimes you just go quiet, because the pain uses up all the noise. On the way there, he drove like a getaway driver. Fast, sharp turns, breath held in the teeth. On the way back, he drove like an old man. Slow, careful, as if speed could break something else. He didn't turn on the radio. No music, no voices. Just tires on wet asphalt and his breathing too loud. I sat in the passenger seat. Front seat. I got promoted, Dad. And you didn't even clap. Streetlights washed his face in pale gold. Rain softened everything at the edges. He looked in the rearview mirror out of habit, expecting to see my head in the back seat. When he saw the empty space, his jaw tightened. He hit the steering wheel once, then again, not like anger, like knocking on a locked door. The front door opened. This is the moment. The party moment. The moment I was supposed to run, slide on the rug, and bring my favorite toy. He stepped inside and stopped. He waited. The silence had teeth. No nails on wood. No collar jingle. No happy panting. Only the house, holding its breath. His eyes went to my bowl, my bed, the leash hook. Each object was a small betrayal. He lowered himself to the floor right there in the hallway, my hallway, and he broke. Quietly, the kind of breaking where the body gives up on pretending. He whispered, "I'm sorry," again and again. I lay down at his feet. I rested my head against his shoe. And I stayed. Because guarding is what I am. Even as wind. Even as memory. Even as something he cannot see. If this house was going to feel empty, then I would become the reason it still felt watched over. I stayed in the hallway, and I listened to his grief the way I used to listen to storms. Not to stop it, just to make sure he survived it. That night, he didn't turn off the lights. He left the hallway lamp on, like a lighthouse for a ship that would never return. He sat on the couch and stared toward the hallway. The TV played, but low, as if it was ashamed to exist. Every few minutes, his eyes drifted to the corridor, expecting, begging. He didn't say it out loud, but I knew what he wanted. He wanted the pattern back, the routine, the proof that the world still had rules. I tried to give it to him. I focused on the sound he loved, the click 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 of nails on wood. I imagined it so hard. I thought the air might remember. Click, click, click. He lifted his head. Hope lit up in his eyes. The most dangerous emotion in grief. He leaned forward, listening. Like my sound could walk around the corner and save him from reality. He whispered my name. Soft. Bella. And I realized the cruelest part of being invisible. I can trigger hope, but I can't deliver the hug. The hallway stayed empty. The lamp stayed warm. The silence returned. He swallowed hard. He leaned back into the couch, and his face looked older than it did that morning. Later, when he finally went to bed, he didn't sleep. He collapsed. In the middle of the night, his hand reached down beside the bed, searching for my warmth out of pure habit. His fingers touched nothing. He woke up like he'd been pulled from deep water, gasping, heart racing, eyes wide in the dark. He stared at the floor, at the space where I should have been. And then he turned his face into the pillow, so the house wouldn't hear him fall apart. I lay down anyway, right where I always lay, because even if he can't feel my fur, I can still keep watch, and keeping watch is how I love. Morning came like it didn't care. He walked into the kitchen and froze. My bowl was still there, clean, empty, patient. He stared at it like it was waiting for me, like it didn't know. He opened the cabinet. He saw my treats. He closed it again quickly, like it hurt his eyes. Then he did something strange. He picked up my leash and held it, just stood there, holding an object that had lost its purpose. Humans do that. You hold the leftover shape of love, because you don't know where else to put it. He walked to the hallway hook, then stopped. The hook was empty. The emptiness looked loud. He looked down at the floor. I knew exactly what he was imagining. Me, trotting behind him, shadow at his heels. His lips moved. A habit escaped. Come on. Then his face folded. Because the hallway stayed empty. Because reality kept its cruel promises. He sat on the floor again, back against the wall, and breathed like breathing was difficult. He didn't cry loud. He didn't scream. He just leaked. Quiet grief. The kind that doesn't ask for attention. I watched him and understood something that hurt. He didn't just miss me. He missed the version of himself that felt safe because I existed. I was his routine, his witness, his silent proof that he mattered to someone. So the house felt wrong now. Not haunted, just incomplete. He walked through rooms slowly, like he was afraid of finding my absence in new places. Every corner had memory. Every sunbeam had a ghost. He reached for the spot behind his chair, where I used to lie while he worked. His fingers hovered, then pulled back. He didn't know where to place his love anymore. And that is what grief is. Love with nowhere to go, searching for a new home. A few days later, I came back, but in a small wooden box. He carried it into the house as if it was fragile, as if I could spill out and be lost forever. He placed it near the hallway, my hallway, like he wanted me to keep doing my job. He sat in front of it for a long time, hands on his knees, eyes tired. He whispered, "Hi, baby." And his voice cracked. He thought I was inside that box, locked in darkness. I wanted to laugh, not because it was funny, because it was beautifully wrong. Dad, that's just the packaging. That's just the last address my body lived in. I don't fit in a box. Now, I am the size of the wind. That night, he stared into the hallway lamp, like it was the only star in his sky, and the question arrived. Why so little time? Why do dogs leave so fast? He didn't ask with anger. He asked with confusion, like a man holding an unfair rule in his hands. You measure time in clocks, appointments, deadlines, birthdays. You stack days like bricks and call it a life. We don't do that. We measure time in heartbeats, in dinners, in walks, in naps where the only sound is your breathing. To you, I was a chapter. To me, you were my whole book. I was born. I found you. I loved you. I guarded your hallway. I went to sleep loved. That is a complete life. Length is not the same as depth. A long life can be empty. A short life can be full. My life was full. And the pain you feel now is not proof that something went wrong. It is proof that something was real. Pain is the receipt. Love is the purchase. And it was worth it. It is always worth it. So keep the lamp on if you need to. Hold the leash if you have to. But don't turn grief into a prison. Because I didn't love you, so you could learn how to suffer. I loved you, so you could learn how to live. He began slowly to live again, not in big cinematic steps, in small betrayals of grief. A shower, a meal, a moment of laughter that surprised him, like a candle refusing to go out. The first time he smiled, it looked illegal, like his face didn't know it was allowed to do that anymore. He walked outside one morning and stood on the porch breathing in the air, testing whether the world still had oxygen. I stood beside him. Habit, shadow. He went farther than he had gone since the storm. Down the street, past the places we used to pass together. He reached a small trail, under trees that smelled like damp earth and old leaves. He paused at a spot where I once insisted on sniffing the same patch of grass forever. Humans don't understand that level of investigation. But he waited anyway. He closed his eyes. For a moment, his shoulders dropped. Not happy, not healed, just less clenched. And I wanted to tell him something simple. You are not betraying me by living. You are honoring me. Because my job was never to become a box on a shelf. My job was to be a force in your life. If you breathe deeper because you loved me, I am still working. If rain makes you pause and remember, I am still here. If the hallway lamp makes you feel less alone, I am still guarding. He thinks I went somewhere far away. Silly. I haven't gone anywhere. I am the shadow in the hallway. I am the warmth you expect at the foot of the bed when the night is cold. I am the silence that no longer feels empty once you stop fighting it. Love doesn't vanish. It changes form. It becomes wind. It becomes memory. It becomes a quiet presence that follows you without making a sound. One day he drove past a park we used to visit. He didn't plan to stop, but he slowed down. His hand drifted toward the passenger seat. A reflex looking for me. He parked. He sat there for a long time. Then he stepped out and walked into the grass. A dog ran by chasing a ball, joy spilling everywhere. The owner laughed, and the laugh sounded like sunlight. My human flinched at first. Then his face softened. Not jealousy, not anger, recognition. He whispered, "Good boy," to a stranger's dog, and the words came out like a test, as if he was checking whether his voice still worked in the language of love. Later someone told him, "You should get another dog." He nodded politely. Then he went home and cried in the hallway, because the suggestion felt like betrayal. So let me say this clearly. A new dog does not replace the one who left. A new dog is not a trade. A new dog is proof that love survives the wreckage. If one day a new set of paws enters this home, my job won't be to be jealous. My job will be to approve, to stand in the hallway and say, "Welcome, guard him well," because the point of my life was not to make him loyal to grief. It was to make him loyal to love. So this is my goodbye, not the kind that ends a story, the kind that closes a door softly, so the house can sleep. Go live, Dad. Go find others to love. The heart is elastic. It stretches. Don't lock your joy away because you think it's disrespectful. If you loved me, then you already did the one thing I needed. You gave me a whole life. I will lie down right here, where time does not exist. Right in the hallway. Right where I stood guard for a decade. And I will wait. When you arrive, whenever that is, I won't be angry. I won't ask for explanations. I won't measure the years. I will do the only thing I've ever done perfectly. I will run to you. I will press my whole self into you. And I will wag my tail so hard. It will feel like the universe is laughing with us. See you later. And when that day comes, the hallway will finally feel quiet, in a good way, like a house that knows it is safe.